the Church of Jesus Christ. Not long ago, Vice President J.D. Vance addressed the issue of U.S. foreign aid and immigration this way.
There's this old school, and I think it's a very Christian concept, by the way, that you love your family, and then you love your neighbor, and then you love your community, and then you love your fellow citizens in your own country, and then after that, you can focus and prioritize the rest of the world. A lot of the far left has completely inverted that.
Vice President Vance's comments made some commotion, but Vance was actually citing what Christian theologians have called the Ordo Amoris, or the ordering of loves. And it's an ancient Christian concept that goes back to at least St. Augustine. It's actually rather obvious, and it's striking how many Christians have been taught to deny it because they misunderstand what the Bible actually teaches. The question really comes down to obligation. Do I have more of an obligation based in love to feed my own child than to feed someone on the other side of the world? Some Christians will shallowly say no, but the Bible teaches otherwise. In fact, the Apostle Paul writes, "But if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever." Of course, Paul does not mean that our care for our families should exclude help for others too. He commends us to be sacrificially charitable, as does Jesus. But since none of us has infinite resources, it's designed to start at home with those most proximate to us. No matter how much you claim to care about people thousands of miles away, if you don't provide for your own household, you are, Paul says, worse than an unbeliever. J.D. Vance was exactly right about how the left inverts this, and dangerously so. The late humorist P.J. O'Rourke once wrote, "Everyone wants to save the earth, but nobody wants to help mom do the dishes." In other words, the thing that's right in front of you actually requires personal effort, whereas benevolent feelings for those you can't see can make us feel good without costing much real energy. In fact, the left likes to express their benevolence with your money, costing them nothing. The Order of Love says that our obligations are more concrete to those closest to us and then working outward from there. It's easy to love someone you never see. It's much harder to love those you have to live around and among every day. The implications of a proper doctrine of the proper order of loves and how all of this applies to us personally, as well as the structuring of nations, is worth pondering and discussing. But let's also note how refreshing it is. After a vice president who worked hard to try to send pro-lifers to prison, we now have a vice president of the United States who explicitly advocates a Christian worldview and can articulate it.